Yes, a very good morning wherever you're watching us from. This the 29th March of the 29th date of March, of course, 2023. I believe that you had a good night, a good beginning to the day. My name is Vincent Kirosi, taking this opportunity to welcome you to this auspicious show, Kirk in the Morning, every Wednesday, as we do a time to look at what is happening in the country, and we give it a face, we give it a voice, we give it words, and to see how it develops going forward. And it's all about Mandamano, it's all about the aftermath and the effects, and who is going to take responsibility, who is to blame, and who is going to come and bring that serenity and sobriety as far as this whole situation is concerned. I want to invite you to the show. You can also weigh into the conversation this morning by engaging us on our social media pages, Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook, KirkTV_Kenya on Twitter, as well as our SMS number 0311220044. We'll be able to look at what you say even as we continue with this conversation. But first things first, I want us to have a look at what is written in the newspapers this morning. All right, let's have a look at what is making headlines in the Standard and, of course, the Nation this morning. The Standard, a portrait of anarchy. The aftermath, President Ruto condemns impunity, says police operationally independent. Azimio leaders blame president for Monday's chaos. IG Commerce concerned over violence, assures country is safe. DPP Haji orders IG to investigate planners and financiers in the mayhem. Kenya Kwanza leaders claim Azimio-sponsored Kenyatta farm attack to win sympathy. This is a story covered, of course, on the events that transpired on Monday during the Azimio Mandamano Day. The story covered on page 4, on page 5, on page 6, 7, and 14 of the Standard this morning. Pictures, Halloween pictures there on the top page of the Standard this morning. A picture of a torched building of a church, the PCA church in Kibra. And of course, what is written there is that part of Monday's distraction on the Kenyatta's family's Northlands farm near Kamakis in Kiambu is seen to be in the picture. Of course, a picture there on the aftermath and how things transpired at the Northlands, on Monday. Also a church, as I told, the other PCA church in Kibra that was burnt on Monday. And of course, another really sad picture there of a mosque that was partly destroyed in Kibra on Monday night after Azimio demonstrations in the area. So the story there is blame it all on Ruto, says Raila. Azimio leaders claim President William Ruto is responsible for the chaos that erupted during demonstrations on Monday. And of course, they've also done a story there that is covered on page 6 as well. Gachagwa's 69 hours at the helm. For the last 2 days, DP Rigathi Gachagua has woken up as the highest authority in the land, with his boss away in Europe. That story is, of course, covered in the Standard in page 6. So if you want to pick a story there that is really touching and that is really connected to what you want to read this morning, kindly have a look at what the Standard have covered there. The back page of the Standard, it's sports and why Kipchoge is not about to slow down yet. World marathon record holder has set his sights on another record as he trains for Boston. The 38-year-old faces strong field that has defending champions Ivan Chebet, Benson Kipruto, and two-time winner Lelisa Dedisa. That is all about the Standard. We'll have a look at what is covered by the Nation, the Daily Nation this morning. At the top page of the Daily Nation, violent protests, of course, wanted sponsors of Kenyatta farm attack. The faces right there of people that made way into the former president's property in Northlands along Kiambu, along Thika Road, of course, the eastern bypass there. Faces of people who made away with livestock, These are wanted faces of some members of the gang that invaded the Kenyatta family's owned Northland City property on Monday, destroyed property and made away with livestock. Police are yet to report any arrests. They've also said nothing, say nothing. A loud silence from the government yesterday greeted the brazen invasion of a property belonging to the family of former President Uhuru Kenyatta, as the nation established that the raid was planned and funded by 3 politicians executed by a well-known gang for hire. Will Inspector General of Police Japhet Koome bring the culprits along with the sponsors of violence and looting during Azimio's protest to book? Story covered on page 2, page 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the Nation this morning. Story covered on page 8 of the Nation this morning as well. Keep off new officers, CAS has told as court decide fate. The 50 chief administrative secretaries appointed by President William Ruto will continue staying away from their new offices until the High Court makes a ruling on whether to lift interim orders that block them from assuming office, even though some of them have reported to their respective places of work. This is after Justice Hedwig Ongudi yesterday declined requests by the CSS to set aside the temporary orders. Of course, the stories in the Nation this morning. Let's have a look at what the back page of the Nation says. Weak shilling pushes 800 off dollar millionaires list. Kenya's dollar millionaires stood at 7,700 in 2022, a sharp drop from 8,500 the previous year. That's the effect of the weakening shilling against the dollar. Basically, that is all about what is written in the this morning between the Daily Nation and the Standard. As I always tell you, if you want to read, pick out your favorite and read the stories covered by my fellow journalists extensively in those papers, or another paper that you think makes sense to you. But a story, I have to inform you of a bit of a breaking news here. Banisa MP Kulo Maalim succumbs to injuries that he got in a border accident at South B in Nairobi on Sunday. Banisa MP Kulo Maalim has succumbed to injuries at Aga Khan Hospital after being hit by a border at South B in Nairobi on Sunday. We say condolences to the family and friends of Banisa MP Kulo Maalim, who has succumbed to injuries that he suffered on Sunday after he was hit by a border in South B, Nairobi. All right, time to take a short break. I'll be right back with my guests in studio and get into that conversation that I believe you want to hear about, that you also want to engage in. Do not go away. Just stay where you are and send us your feedback on our social media pages, Kirk TV Kenya, Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook, Kirk TV _Kenya on Twitter, as well as our SMS number 011122004, and we'll get to see what you get to say as far as that conversation is concerned. It's all about the aftermath of Maandamano and what route is it taking. Let's hear what you say on our social media pages and that SMS number that, of course, I've given you. We'll be right back in a short while. Do not go away.
Keep it Kirk now and going forward. We have a lot of family programs, and this being a Christian commercial station, We will partner with you as institutions, as individuals, so that we are able to reach out to the entire world. One person said that my parish is the entire world, and I believe that Kirk TV is going globally, and therefore bring your business. We are going to advertise it and also partner with you.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 401-9613, account partner. Pay bill number 401-9613, account partner.
John Maxwell once said, "A reader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." Simply put, readership is all about vision and influence. Join me, Robert Waihenya Goge, the Secretary General of the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, every first Monday of the month from 8 p.m. as we microscopically look at the reality, specificity, and simplicity of leadership only on Kirk TV. Specificity.
Uongozini, a show by the leader, for the leader.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
Uwe rafiki wa karibu na uwe partner. Ukisema ya kwamba utakuwa ukiwapatia 100 shillings, hata hiyo ni kubwa sana kwao. Ukisema ni 200, ukisema ni 1000, ukisema utaweza 5000, ni wewe tu utaamua. Lakini ikiwa consistent, tuseme ya kwamba ni mwezi, nikisema ya kwamba nitakuwa nikiwapatia mwezi kiasi hiki, ni kuendelea tu na kuwapatia na kuwashikilia. Kushikilia hiyo ni kama tunaenda mission. Sisi tunaenda mission.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 401-9613, account partner. Pay bill number 401-9613, account partner.
Kirk TV is a place to be. Let us build our own brand. Let us labor for this, because this is where the true mission is, and therefore partner with us. Keep it at Kirk, and we'll go far together.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 401-9613, account partner. Pay bill number 401-9613, account partner.
John Maxwell once said, "A reader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." Simply put, readership is all about vision and influence. Join me, Robert Waihenya Goge, the Secretary General of the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, every first Monday of the month from 8 p.m. as we microscopically look at the reality, specificity, and simplicity of leadership only on Kirk TV. Specificity.
Uongozini, a show by the leader, for the leader.
Mark 4 once said, a reader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Simply put, readership is all about vision and influence. Join me, Robert Waihenya Goge, the Secretary General of the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, every first Monday of the month from 8 p.m. as we microscopically look at the reality, specificity, and simplicity of leadership only on Kirk TV. Specificity.
Uongozini, a show by the leader, for the leader.
Hizo ziko mbele yako, lakini Mungu anasema ataziondoa kwa ajili yako ndiposa uweze kupita. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Kwa hivyo ni vyema usimame imara na ujue Mungu ni wewe anaongelesha siku ya leo. Kama umefika mahali ambapo ni kikomo, hujui uende mbele, hujui urudi nyuma, Mungu anasema simama tu imara na utaona. Bwana Yesu asifiwe.
Keep it Kirk now and going forward. We have a lot of family programs, and this being a Christian commercial station, we will partner with you as institutions, as individuals, so that we are able to reach out to the entire world. One person said that my parish is the entire world, and I believe that Kirk TV is going globally, and therefore bring your business. We are going to advertise it and also partner with you.
To partner with us, send your financial support to pay bill number 4019613, account partner. Pay bill number 4019613, account partner.
John Mark 4 once said, a reader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Simply put, readership is all about vision and influence. Join me, Robert Waihenya Goge, the Secretary General of the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, every first Monday of the month from 8 p.m. as we microscopically look at the reality, specificity, and simplicity of leadership only on Kirk TV. Specificity.
Uongozini, a show by the leader, for the leader. Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
All right, welcome back. This is Kirk in the morning, and I am in studio now with my two guests, my panelists in studio. As always, I begin from a far right. There is Ndegwa. You know, this is our guy here. He's been here for a while now. I think we need to give you that badge, a blue badge, so that you become a resident for that matter.
I accept gracious.
Karibu sana. And of course, we welcome in studio the only lady in the house, Celestine Njagi, an advocate of the High Court, joining us today after a very long time away from Kirk TV. How have you been?
I've been okay, I can't complain.
Okay.
Yes.
Things are okay on the corridors of justice?
Yes, they are.
All right.
Yes.
Let's just go straight into it. I mean, we don't have to beat around the bush. What happened on Monday? I just want to get your take. First, the Northlands, property of the former President Kenyatta's family, was invaded by unknown gangs. Livestock, thousands of livestock made away with, and property destroyed for that matter. And two, there was a church burnt in Kibra, as well as a mosque and other property of residents there. What is your take from the word go, Banandego?
First of all, I would love to say that it is a bad precedent to set. And not only concerning the attack of the property of the former president, but also concerning all other properties of all Kenyans, wherever they might be. It is a bad precedent to set to enter property that is private. It is a bad precedent to set to ban properties of all other Kenyans, whether poor or rich. And to me, I think we are headed in the wrong direction. I have said that in the past shows here, that it is a bad direction that we are headed to, and especially now that we can see how clearly, we can clearly see how these things are panning out, considering that the burning of churches and the burning of a mosque are part of what we are talking this morning. I think there is need to re-strategize as a nation and do better.
Re-strategize and do better. Yes. What about you, Akili? What's your take on the aftermath of Monday?
It was very unfortunate that we are having to experience this kind of, whatever was supposed to be peaceful protests is now turning out to a looting venture for some. For maybe some people are taking advantage of the situation, whereby we're looking, the protests that were supposed to be held within the law. You should be peaceful. The people who are actually in it should be unarmed. But having to burn down churches, burning down businesses, looting from businesses, it is an act that must be condemned in the strongest way possible. Because at the end of the day, whether it is the Northlands, now we might just start seeing them coming to the estates, and then people, for example, even there's a shop somewhere in, I think, Pipeline, supermarket.
Yeah.
That was Mundi Mweusi, and property was actually looted from that business. And even people in Kibra, now their businesses, apart from the church burning, the businesses that surround also that church, some of them actually also burned down. Yeah. So those are acts that must be condemned in the strongest way possible. We cannot tolerate that, even in the coming mandamanos that, well, because now there's going to be mandamanos probably tomorrow and the next Monday. We don't know that for sure, but they're supposed to continue going on. So what is supposed to happen? Are the police now also are they supposed to protect them, protect the businesses? Are they supposed to arrest them? Of course, they should do the best that they're supposed to do, but we must condemn this act. We cannot tolerate them. As much as they have their right to exercise their right by protesting, but now looting to other people's businesses, we cannot tolerate that at all.
It's the mandamano, the mass action losing what actually it was meant to achieve at the end of the day. Are we losing focus as far as this mandamano is concerned? Is it taking a personality, a fight between personalities kind of route? What is it? What is happening? Because on last Monday it was reasonably about what they say they will do, but now we see it's taking sides, it's a kind of who's wearing the shoe at what time.
In my opinion, I think, and I'm saying this as Ngugi Ndegwa have always reminded you, not as the youth league chairman for the NARC Kenya party.
Yeah.
And my opinion in this is that it has been wrong from the word go. I think despite the constitution giving freedom to the Kenyans and to Kenyan citizens to picket, to demonstrate, and do all that, there is a limit to how far it should go, because one, people should be unarmed. And from the word go, if you will remember in a show that I attended here, I think sometimes back before all this started, I said that we are headed in the wrong direction, particularly because of the words used by leaders in these public barazas. And one word that I said that makes all this wrong to me is the use of words like tutasimamisha biashara Nairobi. And for me, that was really bad, because you already set the pace for what people are expecting in their minds when they go to the maandamano. And afterwards, we have heard words that are not very palatable, even in the media, by these same leaders. And when I mentioned that there was a problem in the use of the words tutasimamisha biashara Nairobi, I also said that that should be accompanied by, and I challenged the leaders of this coalition that we call ours to come out strongly and condemn that. Because if that is not condemned, then silence means that you already are in agreement with what is being said. So there has been silence in as far as those words are concerned. But more to that, there have been many instances of adding on top of those words to kind of set the pace even further towards what we are seeing. And without even mentioning names, I think there is a challenge here. Because we are not only, this is not turning to be bad, it was bad from the beginning. So I think that is why I started by saying that we need to re-strategize and understand the depth of what we are getting into, because there is a limit which we shall cross and we shall not be able to come back. We cannot afford to go back to where we were in 2007. In 2007, I will mention that a church I used to attend in Kisumu, in fact a parish I used to attend in Kisumu, was burnt down. An entire parish, in exception of only one church. That is a parish that contains how many churches? Made up of 3 churches, congregations. And 2 of them were burnt down, in exception of only one. Which means if we are heading that way, then we are going back to where we were in 2007, and it's a bad place. And totally, everyone should be in disagreement with. So that is my view.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but again, we see what the opposition in courts, because constitutionally we don't have an opposition. But the Azimio leaders say that all they are doing is constitutional, is according to the law. They insisted they are doing it peacefully. Like if you look at what happened on Monday when they went through Kawangware, all through, came back to Kibra. Well, if what we were beaming ourselves, you know, online and other media is anything to go by, then to them it was relatively peaceful. But after, now what happened in Kibra is what we need to question. What led into that happening? Why did the people decide to go back in the evening and now tear down, burn, and, you know, destroy and even kill because a person died in Kibra?
I think this is a conversation that should be had with both sides, because it is time for both sides now to agree that really we are headed in the wrong direction, because there is an action from one end and another one in the response from another one, which means, and this is politics, which means both sides could be mobilizing in their own ways, which should not happen at this point. So it is a conversation that should be had by both sides to decide intentionally that we cannot go this way, and because of that, let us now look at it differently. Because people cannot only be heard in the streets. It is true that picketing is allowed, But my only issue is the words that are coming from both sides of the divide.
Okay. We know there's always politics in all that we do in Kenya. And even this picketing is purely politics in this. Can we say that there is a political hand in all that happened on Monday, in Kibra and Northlands, that, some are doing their peaceful picketing, but there is a group somewhere taking advantage of that and, going on a rampage to destroy and demolish?
Well, whenever there is picketing, now, which is allowed constitutionally, and it's entrenched by the Constitution by Article 37, which is okay. Yeah. Of course, we expect, I don't think it is something new that whenever there is any protest of some kind, whether peaceful or not, sometimes, of course, this kind of the mandamano we're experiencing has emotions attached to it, human emotions attached to it. There is also going to be a political hand in it. If I want you, or maybe one side of the political divide wants to be heard by the ruling party, and they want to hear that their grievances are actually being met, because they're trying to drive an agenda. The agenda is IBC fungua server. There is that. There is also another agenda where they're claiming that
high cost of living.
Yes, I don't know how the high cost of living is going to be, how we are actually, now the picketing is going to make sure that comes down, because that has a very much an economic, I don't know if they want now the government to give more subsidies or maybe, but is the picketing going to bring that, the high cost of living down? Is that going to trigger IBC to open the servers? Is that the best way possible? Of course, when people are now, by stopping business, what he's talking about, kusimamisha biashara Nairobi, what happens? When people cannot transact in business, especially people in Nairobi, the mwananchi, even that who has not gone for that mandamano, is definitely aggrieved. So we start pushing the government. So in a way, they might actually just get what they want in terms of maybe have a conversation with the ruling government, the government that is the government of the day. Maybe, just maybe, they might be heard, yeah? Because when everyone is aggrieved, when they can't go to work, when your employees cannot, for example, if you can't go, when there were media attacks, imagine if you cannot, you can no longer air the news, or people, because of the picketing, you can no longer come to work. People in Nairobi can never open their businesses for 2 days. That's crippling business. What happens to these people? The Mananchi, we will start questioning the government. Either you stop these people or you allow us to go to work, find a way to stop this mandamano. So that is what they are moving for. So of course there's the political hand. You cannot, anything in politics, mandamano is purely political. Yes? It is protest, when you're calling people to protest against the government. Of course there is the political hand in it. There has to be. And the aftermath is things that we are seeing now in Kibra. It is unfortunate, but it is going to happen. It started first in Mweusi. That was the first thing that was first reported. Has it stopped? There was a student in Maseno who died. That was the first mandamano. Did they stop from there? Now they've come. Now Kibra, a few businesses banned, churches were banning, mosques were banning. Yes? Is that going to stop? Thursday, what do we expect? So what is this going to do? So of course, apart from the government must expect some things are going to happen. And so the right honorable what's his name? Raila Odinga. Odinga, now what he's going to do, the government must listen to him. Because if there's civil unrest, if people are complaining that this is happening in their backyard, if we can no longer go to work, the employers are going to complain. Everyone is going to start complaining. So they have to find a way to stop. So what's the best way to stop it? It is to listen. It is to either sit down. I don't know how they're going to bring down the cost of living. I don't know how that is going to happen. But one way or the other, they must they must sit down. They must listen to each other, because of course there are aggrieved citizens who are still citizens of this country, and there are those who are feeling, maybe, I don't know whether everyone else is okay with the high cost of living. Personally, I'm not okay with that. I cannot possibly be okay. It's a bit too expensive. Yes, and if it's expensive for me, I don't know what the person who's at the bottom there, how they're feeling. Yeah. So of course, those are grievances that must be had. They must address them. They must. So they either sit, they decide on how they're going to come about on that issue, but the political hand, because the people who are actually in the Maandamano will continue insisting that whatever they're doing is peaceful protest. And whenever you're going to see them on the road, you're not going to see them fighting. You're not going to see them, maybe when you saw the leaders over there, they're not fighting with anyone. Yes? But now the people who are going to actually accompany them, the aftermath, because when you see like Kibra, what happened in Kibra happened in the evening, at night. So what does that tell us? Yes? So there are things that are going to, of course, they might achieve their agenda, but there is also so much more that we are going to lose. So they must then decide whether this is what they actually want to achieve. Is the Maandamano achieving the agenda that they actually wanted to achieve? Is that the vision of that Maandamano? So we must, the leaders must then sit down and say, if it's going to affect everyone else, even those who are not part of the Maandamano, because I don't think there was anything that church did. Yeah, we saw there were claims that some people who are Nubians there are fighting against some other tribes. There's even going to be an ethnicity kind of thing that then will start arising.
Yeah,
is
which is a route
what
that
we are
we don't
looking
want to take
forward
as a
to?
country.
Is that what we are looking forward to? So they must know whether that Maandamano is actually meeting the agenda.
Yeah, achieving the goal. Now, I mean, when all this is happening, there is a big question that is lingering around. The conduct of the police. The police were conspicuously absent in Northlands for that evening, or for that whole day, and even the evening when there was, a fire that was burning that, man-made forest there. The police were conspicuously absent in Kibra at that night when the burning of the church, the mosque, when that young man was killed, when the businesses of the residents there were burnt. The police were conspicuously absent. Is this a picture that we want to relate with the police, who are supposed to provide security for life and property?
Well, I think, and again in my view, that there is need for clarity from the government to be able to show that truly they mean business when they say that they are ready to protect the lives and businesses of common mwananchi. There are issues that have been raised, and that is why I wouldn't very much want to delve so much on the Northland issue. Particularly because there are issues of the private security and the many police officers that are present in this property and that are there to protect this property.
But this as much as we have a police post or police station there, they are under command.
Yes.
And that command always comes from the IG.
And that is what I want to bring this point forward. That there are two sides of this story. That one, where people say there is a police post within, we are not sure because we have not been there. Well, there might be a police post inside there, but definitely there is also the other side of the story which we must not ignore. That despite there being a police post inside the property, it is also the work of the government and also the work of the police service to protect any property that is within the boundaries of this nation. So I think that is the kind of poor response that we saw. Was it on Monday when this property was being attacked, and also the kind of poor response that we saw in Kibra when the church and the mosque were being burned down is questionable to me.
But is the government trying to pass a message? Is anyone trying to pass a message? Not even the government. Is anyone trying to pass a message?
About what? Who is in power and who is able to call shots?
No, just imagine. So if the policeman, if there was a policeman out here and someone is being mugged, yeah? Should they not act? Should they wait for an order?
They should act.
Yes, if at all, because that has not been brought to light. They're actually policemen or authorities or anyone who guards that property. Did they do it intentionally not to guard the property as they're expected to? Because then what is their duty? You know, if you've been placed here, it is protect this property.
Yes, yes.
So if I do not act, then what does that show? Is it because I'm waiting for an order? I mean, what is your job in the first place? You want to tell me there are also no policemen also in Kibera? I bet there are policemen.
There are police posts.
There's police posts somewhere,
within the
yes?
vicinity, yes.
Yes, but we can also not totally fault them. Because, for example, let's say in Kibra, if it was actually planned that these churches will ban and some criminals, and of course, because that's a criminal offense, yeah? So those are criminals who are actually getting involved. Those are not people able to call part of the mandamano. Those are just criminals. And the criminals then decided we are going to ban these churches down to maybe pass a sort of a message, I don't know. But by banning them, you want to tell me as much as the police could have, the only thing the police could have done is arrest them. So far I haven't heard of any arrests that have actually been done. With regards to Kibra, I haven't heard. And with Northlands, not yet. I haven't heard, although we have now seen the media identifying these people. We have not seen or heard about any arrests that have been done. And maybe they just might be hiding behind what Right Honorable Odinga just said, to release those people who've been arrested for the mass mandamano, to be released unconditionally. So maybe they're not releasing them.
You know what is interesting is how it's a pull and push from either side. Because if you see what the Standard have written today, President Ruto condemns impunity. Says police operationally independent. Azimio leaders blame president for Monday's chaos. IG Kome concerned over violence, assures country safe. DPP Haji orders IG to investigate planners, financials of the mayhem. Kenya Kwanza leaders claim Azimio sponsored Kenyatta farm attack to win sympathy.
Let me tell you, Vincent.
Who should we believe in this? The police are saying this. The government, the executive is saying something different. And the opposition or the agitators are saying something else. Who should we believe in?
Let's start here and say that this is totally inexcusable. Whichever way we look at it, it is inexcusable. And not only for the side of the government, but also for the side of Azimio. And that is why I'm saying that the problem here is neither the police nor whatever we might want it to seem. The problem here is the kind of politics that we are playing at a very bad time. And I will say that because I think it is time that we have an honest conversation with ourselves and decide that we need to end this cyclic culture of descending into impunity and violence every other time we have an election. And I will say that because it seems like something that is a cycle that is predictable, that every other time that an election is done, there will be parties that feel aggrieved. That is normal. And more to that, after going to courts, we will see people who want to go to the streets, which to me, I think there is need now to change strategy. There is need to definitely change tact and say that this is not working. Now, what could work? Is it possible that we sit down and address the real issues that are hurting? Because for either sides, I don't think food prices is what they really want to project. For either side, it is what these individuals want. Let us put it clearly. Now let us sit down and say the issue is electoral justice, injustice. Let us sit down and say the issue is how we conduct our election. The issue is this and this. Now how can we address it without having to go the long route of causing deaths and causing destruction of property? And there is an important question that I've been asking. Even in how the media portrays this whole issue, and especially what we are seeing in gazettes, I did not see this kind of vigor in bringing out, projecting this issue as it is when the property that was said was looted. A business, what was it called? Yes, when it was looted. We have not seen the same vigor when a student in Maseno died.
Yes.
That one we cover really well as the media.
Not really on the side of the media, but on the side of even the politicians. I think there is kind of selectiveness in how aggressive we, because when you look, a minute, because when you look at this issue of Northlands, you will see that there is a kind of aggressiveness that we have come out with to really defend this and to say, to castigate and to say that this one is wrong. But we have not seen the same earlier. And I think that is why I'm saying it is important right now to stop where we are and say, now because we cannot go on this way, let us stop for a minute and address this issue from the beginning and say that now maandamano will not work. It is good to picket, and it is the Article 37 of the Constitution allows it. But it is also better to think of a country that needs to move forward after an election.
Okay.
But what happens when these people cannot be heard? The high cost of living, it is not the first time that people are complaining about it.
Yes.
The previous government, people had already started complaining about it.
Yes.
With the current government, the prices shot even higher because well, the issue of the subsidies and what have you. And then, so the only way, and now after they were aggrieved, after the Supreme Court, they never considered and said, you know what, the court is right, that's it. They still continue to pass the agenda. So maybe they thought the only way that we shall be heard is through picketing. Yes, I do not condemn picketing myself, because I know most revolutions, even for us to be where we are as a country, protests actually have shown that when done right, that is when done right, they actually do work. They actually work because, well, the Mau rebellion
with South Africa
has also given us independence. You see?
And also with South Africa, I think we saw a scenario where we saw picketing in its real picture.
Yes.
A peaceful one where people, it is a procession of people moving forward and in the streets and saying, these are the real issues and these are the issues that we want the government to address.
The leaders who are then leading the protests and the picketing that is taking place, they must then come out very clear to condemn
the actions.
And then, I don't know why Kenyans are sometimes very excited when it is someone in power who's been touched or who's formerly in power.
Yes.
Now the Northlands, the reason why I would guess that is happening is they're imagining if this can happen to a property belonging to a former president.
Yes.
And not so long ago. What will happen to us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shall then will we be protected? If the government, if the policemen start and what that happened, then what will happen to our businesses? Then test the same with Kibra. Now that happened in Kibra. You see, it even now churches were burning, businesses were burning, someone is dying.
Yes.
But then what is happening is then the government then to come out and the president then to say that he's condemning this, and which is good that he's condemning it, yes? Then we must, then they must be seen to do something. Only speaking and giving words and whatever, it is
good enough.
But actions, actions is what we need to see. We need to see the police actually arresting people.
Yes.
If it is extrajudicial killing, we need to see the DPP's office charging people. We need to see the police arresting these guys. We need to see people arraigned, because whether it was done during a picketing, which was supposed to be peaceful or not, a crime is definitely a crime.
Yes.
We need to see something being done.
And these constitutional bodies that you mentioned are independent. They should deliver from the point of independence. And that is why we are asking, where were the police at that, as much as that concerned. Where were they? Because they know their role.
Yes.
Did they
They
deliver
don't
on
have,
that?
yeah, that's the job.
Yes.
And
that's
actually,
the taxpayers' money paying
yes,
them.
came from, I think, what we have been talking about for the longest time about police reforms. For the longest time, this conversation has evolved to us having a police service as opposed to a police force.
Which is there now.
Now, this police service, being independent, it is inexcusable to say that they were waiting for an order from the government. So, if any crimes have been done, it is the work of the police service to go out of their way to ensure that those who have committed these crimes are brought to book. It is also their work to ensure that those who are fueling in what we will call in the political language, maybe trying to not really much, I wouldn't use the word incite, but fueling what we are seeing, are brought to book and asked in a particular forum, you said this, and in another forum you said this. In one forum you say that we can attack a particular place. In another one you say this. Now, are these words what a culmination? Is it what we are seeing, a culmination to your words?
Yes. That's a question that we need to ask and get the answers. But before we go to a break, even when all this is happening, the president, the head of state, is not in the country. He is in Europe. You know, he's been in Germany for the last 2 days. Yesterday he had to speak. I think he met Kenyan business people that live in Germany, and he had to speak on this. And I don't know if we can have that bite on what the president said yesterday when he said that the police are independent, and he assures of any investor that wants to come into the country that their businesses will be safeguarded.
It's a country of the rule of law, all right? And as responsible citizens, and as president, I will ensure that everybody's property, it is my duty, everybody's property, everybody's business, everybody's hustle is protected, and the lives of the people of Kenya are protected. It is the duty of the police. My administration will make the resources necessary, the policy decisions necessary for the police to execute their mandate in accordance with the law and the Constitution. The Inspector General of Police and all the police, the entire police force in Kenya have a responsibility to ensure that the property of every Kenyan, the business of every Kenyan, the life of every Kenyan is secure, protect the right of every Kenyan, the civil rights of every Kenyan, and ensure that nobody tramples on the rights of others as they exercise or enjoy their own rights. We have the right to protect everybody, and the police should be able to do that.
The head of state, President William Ruto, speaking in Germany when he met a Kenyan business people that live in Germany. When you read deeply to what he's saying, he says, I as the president, I'll ensure every property of every Kenyan is safeguarded. Every business of Kenyans is safe. And it goes ahead to say the Inspector General of Police has a responsibility to ensure that property and business of Kenyans is not put at any risk. Was he forced to save face, if I may ask that?
No, he's not forced to save face. Number one, he has a duty. You see, once he's the face of Kenya, when he's there, he's the face, he's our leader, he's the president, he's in charge. He's the accountable person. When we are questioning why the police have not done certain things, you're wondering, then what is the president's thought about this? He's not saving face, I believe. He's just saying what he's supposed to, or he's just saying what is expected. And maybe what we should be doing is, he should now, because he can't once you're saying that the police is an independent, they are quite independent.
Yeah.
They should ensure, maybe you should be saying that they should ensure, when you're saying that these properties must be protected, it is true. They must be protected. Everybody's, and that is when you say everybody's, whether it is people who are in power or not, whether it is a poor man, whether it is a rich man, whether it is anyone's property, the right to life, the Constitution must be protected. Yes? Mm-hmm. The rule of law must be followed by everyone, whether it is the police, whether it is even common mwananchi, we all must abide by the rule of law. So I don't think he's saving face really, but he's making a statement because that is what he expects anyway of the people who have been tasked with certain duties to be doing.
She says he's not facing face, but she said he's making a statement.
Yes.
Is he reading a riot act?
I think what the president is doing is only say, I will agree that he's only stating what the role of the government is. But there is a catch to this, that we must see now the action. That during these protests, I have seen people on Facebook complaining about their friends and maybe relatives being hacked while in protests. I have seen certain posts saying that people who are in hospitals injured from injuries that they acquired.
Yeah, actually, we have like 15 people hospitalized.
Yes.
Because of
and that could be whether a very long list of causes, whether it is through being shot or whether it is being hacked. But the word here is that there is need to protect the lives of these people and to protect the properties of all Kenyans wherever they are. And so now it must move from just words to us seeing the real action. So that, sometimes even you need to be protected against yourself because you could be causing harm to yourself.
Yeah.
So now we need to see these police officers inside these crowds and
protecting people
against themselves and even against other attacks from other people.
Yeah.
Because in Mathare we saw two groups.
Yeah.
Was it in Mathare or in Kibra? In Kibra we saw two groups. One that is fighting this group and another one that is fighting this group and then running away to another place. So I think these running battles is what should be stopped. And we call ourselves to a small meeting and say, now this one cannot work this way. And also the police and the government needs to call itself to a small meeting and say, now because we have been saying that this is our role, this is how we implement this without using too much force, because we need to protect the lives of those we are protecting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Allow me to take a break, then we'll be right back now to listen to one or two bites from the Azimio leader Raila Odinga, and then of course some other bites that we have, including the NCIC on the aftermath of Monday, as well as the Amnesty International and the religious leaders, what they're saying. We have a bite that is so candid from the moderate of the PCA, saying we are tired of the politicians giving us an agenda. It's us now to give them an agenda, and our agenda is peace. We'll listen to that bite shortly, but after this break, remember that you can also weigh in on this conversation. Of course, our SMS number is 0311 22004, as well as our social media platforms, Kirk TV Kenya on Facebook, Kirk TV_Kenya on Twitter. You'll be able to look at what you say even as we continue with this conversation. Do not go away, because we'll be right back to continue with the conversation and now listen to other voices. And are they the voice of reason for that matter? We'll get to understand that shortly. Do not go away.